What's up? Hey, hello everyone. Wow. So today we are back on this wonderful Survivor hiatus, going to be talking about Survivor and how they are not allowing swimsuits anymore, which was a hot topic during this season. So my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our podcast every week. We just hit 700 subscribers. Whenever Omicron stops being a jerk, we might go to our favorite sit down restaurant, Applebee's, to do a little bit of a celebration video.
Yeah, so as the title of this video, Alyssa named it Survivor Banning Swimsuits, our reaction. So the show actually, some quick facts, barred swimsuits in 2018, forcing contestants to wear underwear for their entire game. So 39 days back in 2018, 26 days nowadays for Survivor with one set of underwear, which then we'll also talk about how this has sort of changed in recent years. But Jeff Probst claimed that the idea to ban swimsuits was sparked by a conversation he had with Tyler Perry, as some of you may know, like the Tyler Perry idol that Tony had in his first season. And so Tyler Perry then came out and denied that banning swimsuit was his idea, and then was explaining how he only wanted the swimsuits on the show to appear aged and tattered rather than stark and brand new. Not that he wanted production to get rid of them altogether. And I feel like when this was happening in 2018, people didn't really talk about it, but there was a lot of like articles about it this season in 2022, 2021 for these upcoming seasons, season 41 and 42, which was interesting that there wasn't so much talk back in 2018.
Yeah, and I feel like part of the reason there might not have been talk in 2018 was just because there were other things going on. Because I believe the first season where they banned swimsuits was Island of the Idols, right?
Is that 2018? All
I
my
think
time is so warped.
Yeah, I think that was 2018. I believe Island of the Idols was the first season where they banned swimsuits. And obviously, there were other things going on with Island of the Idols that were a little bit more significant than swimsuits. So I feel like part of it is just like there were other things that people were talking about in Survivor. And now that those other things are like slightly more resolved, now they are moving on to talking about the swimsuit problem.
Yeah, so a lot of people have complained that this swimsuit rule has health risks that accompany wearing dirty underwear for an extended period of time. And even just saying that, it's like gross to even think about. And so contestants on the show, they have contracted UTIs, other infections down there because you shouldn't be wearing dirty underwear for that long. And back when players were given a swimsuit, you at least have two sets of items that you could wear. So after you did like a swimming challenge, then you could change out of your swimsuit into your dry clothes. But now, because you're only given like one set of underwear, they're doing the swimming challenges with this one pair. And then you go back to camp. I guess you go commando if you want to dry out your underwear and your clothes, or you're stuck in the damp gear for longer, which is a very problematic. In addition, like underwear and swimsuits are different materials. So swimsuits, they're water wicking. So when you jump in the pool with them, you jump in the ocean, the water goes off of them. They're not like cloth, cotton, damp like regular underwear is, where if you have cotton clothing, it absorbs all of the moisture, so it takes longer to dry out. So that just causes more problems.
Yeah, and I don't think that Rachel specified, but this is like a larger problem for people with vaginas over people with penises, just because of like the way the genitalia work and because of like the way biology works, basically. Because you're more likely to get a UTI when you have a shorter urethra and stuff like that. And so it's a whole thing where like it's bad for both sexes, but it disproportionately affects people with vaginas. who end up getting more UTIs and more like bladder infections.
Which that exact like topic had come up this season of Survivor. So Lauren Ashley Beck, she was posting on TikTok, very big on TikTok over there, which is super interesting. She has a lot of like Survivor secret related TikToks, which are very fascinating. So you all should definitely go listen if you're interested in like Survivor behind the scenes. But she had this one TikTok, which was then deleted, where she said that I guess, allegedly in Island of the Idols, production would give them multiple pairs of underwear, but they would rub the underwear in dirt to make them look like they were worn and tattered, which then CBS came out and denied that they rub underwear in dirt, but they say that they put the clothes through an aging process if people were to get extra pairs. And Lauren was saying in Island of the Idols, people literally had to beg to get that second pair of underwear. Versus in Survivor season 41, Shan and Liana said that the people with vaginas, they did get an extra pair without having to like beg like they were doing in Island of the Idols. So in Survivor 41, those people got one extra pair versus in the past, no one got it unless you were literally begging to get an extra pair, and they were allegedly rubbing it in dirt, which is just sort of gross if
and
that's
like,
true.
even if you get two pairs of underwear for 26 days is still not enough. So I think like it sucks that hygiene is something that they have to think about. Like, yeah, it's kind of gross if you don't like get to shower every day or whatever, but that's something that can like result in long-term like harm if you get like a urinary tract infection or you get a bladder infection. And like it seems like there's a lot of things where Survivor is not the best on like keeping up with the health of its contestants. Like a lot of contestants have talked about how like they had medical issues that weren't properly addressed. Like one of the first quitters, Austin, quit because he had like multiple staph infections that he wasn't getting treated for. And I feel like it's one of those things where like, yeah, you want to balance the like roughing it of Survivor with like making sure that you're treating your castaways with dignity. And I feel like giving people one pair of underwear for 40 days is not like dignified and it's not necessary.
Yeah, Alyssa, you were sort of cutting out there, but I could understand you. It just sort of sounded like you became a robot for a little bit, but hopefully everyone else can understand. You get the gist of what she was saying, but I agree. It's like I feel like the current swimsuit ban doesn't really add anything to the show's entertainment or detracting anything. It's like, do people really notice, oh, their clothes looks really dirty versus, yeah, if it looks brand new, maybe people will notice. But I feel like if production really wants, oh, they're roughing it on this island, having a swimsuit goes along with, if you were stranded on an island, you wouldn't just not bring clothes if you were to go to a beach vacation. Like a swimsuit is something that you'd probably have on the island. So I don't know. I feel like if production wanted to make it look more real of like these people are starving on the island, these people have no clothes, like a swimsuit goes along with that. And with like editing tricks and stuff, I think I talked about this in a different podcast where I took an astronomy class in college where the professor was talking about Survivor and we were talking about phases of the moon, and then he was saying, oh, in Survivor he's noticed sometimes the editing is messed up because they showed the tribe talking at night and the moon phase is at one point and then it says, oh, the next day, when it wasn't actually the next day because the moon phase was actually a day before. Like, you can tell where the moon is in the sky for those nighttime clips. So then it's like, if they really, really cared about production, oh, it looks like they're starving, they're on this island with their clothes all messed up. Like, there's other things with editing that they need to fix. So I don't know. It's just like swimsuits, having them, do people really care that they like, why don't they care if they don't have them? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
And that might also be some reason that people didn't really talk about it when this started coming into effect in 2018. Because it's like, if we didn't even notice that they weren't wearing swimsuits anymore, like, why would we notice if they started wearing swimsuits, you know? And like honestly, I don't pay enough attention to the castaways outfits that I would notice if they were wearing like different underwear, you know? So I feel like some of it is like commitment to realism that doesn't really need to like exist.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like what is the difference? Just give them underwear and a swimsuit. It's like there's so many pros to having a swimsuit that is made for water, it dries out quicker, it's water resistant versus only having one pair of like cotton underwear that absorbs water, is going to rip up like, I don't know, underwear is thin. Like it's going to cause holes and stuff. It's just, I don't know. I think, like, just give them swimsuits and underwear, like, it's not for realism, there's other things that you can do with editing, like the moon thing, but it's like, do people really notice what these people are wearing every single episode?
I guess someone must really be noticing, otherwise it wouldn't be an issue. But
Jeff Probst.
oh, Jeffrey. But yeah, I feel like our feelings on this topic can basically be summarized as like for why. Like it's a big health risk. It doesn't add anything to the show, and it disproportionately affects certain castaways over other ones. And so it's like it's just rough and unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just like a big why, like you were saying. A lot of former castaways have come out and talk about this topic, and they're mostly against the ban of swimsuits and saying like people they should have swimsuits and underwear. And so it's just a big why. Do people really notice it? I'm not sure. The people on the show definitely notice it. I don't know. It's like if you were to go out there and then be starving and you're playing this game of Survivor, and then you have to, on top of that, be thinking about like disease that might be growing in your underwear. Like it's just a lot of extra things to think about that you can get rid of if you just give them swimsuits as well to try to like lessen that potential for getting different kinds of infections and stuff like that. And it's like, I who wants a UTI or anything? It's like those are super, super painful. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you hadn't heard about this topic before now, we really encourage you to like go and see what the castaways are saying about it, just because obviously we only have secondhand information, but a lot of them have like spoken up about their stories, and it's better to hear it from them than to hear it from us.
Yeah, so definitely let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on should Survivor bring back swimsuits? Should they continue to have swimsuits banned and have everyone get 1 to 2 pairs of underwear only for the 26 days or 39 days? Who knows? So definitely let us know in the comments your thoughts on that. Thank you all so much for 700 subscribers. That is so, so, so exciting. If you have any other videos that you want us to do during this hiatus, definitely let us know. I think in 2 weeks, when Australian Survivor starts, we'll do a reaction to the first episode of that, since Sandra from US Survivor and her daughter are going to be on the new Australian Survivor season. Not a spoiler because Australian Survivor has been posting promos and Sandra and her daughter are there. The theme is blood versus water, so it should be interesting, and we'll react to the premiere of that in 2 weeks. So I'm so excited. There's so much TV coming up with Australian Survivor, Celebrity Big Brother, like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and we're super excited to share it all with you guys, and we will see you